All right, what is going on, my dude? Sorry this video is a little bit late, but there was some news dropping on Wednesday. I figured Summer of Pain can wait, or Eternity of Pain could wait a day or two. But anyway, we're going to jump in today of who I think are the best options per class, the top options per class for the boss rush in the final special week of Eternity of Pain. But before we do that, as always, we want to say that it is absolutely okay if you do not solo all of these fights, if you don't go through it with one champion using 0 items like the videos you're going to see on YouTube. Personally, the way I went through it, I just wanted to have some fun. I fired up a stream in the middle of the day. I used a bunch of revives and a bunch of items. That's what they're there for, and I had a really good time. I didn't stress over solos. I got a few solos. It was cool when it happened, but I just had a good time. That's what I suggest you do as well. But anyway, let's start jumping into the best counters for Eternity of Pain Cycle 3, the final boss rush. Okay, so of course we got MCOC, Kraven, Penny Parker, and Dragon Dude here. Okay, so all 4 of these fights on their own were tough and kind of specific and skill-based fights, and they required things you had to do, and some of them required specific counters as well. So to have a boss rush with 3 champions, right, that means that at least one champion's gonna have to double dip a little bit. So big emphasis on the champions that are gonna be in this list. It's like who can really do like 2 fights well, or who is really good for at least 1, right? That's what I was looking for here when I was making this list. So the list is not as long as I wanted it to be, because I didn't want to just list every champion. At that point, I might as well just say use the champions you have ranked up, right? So let's get into it for the skill class. Skill class, we have Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, I would say, is the undisputed master of Eternity of Pain at this point. Sweeta uploaded the video if you want to see a video of him doing all 4, like I just said, right? I said ignore those, but like if you want to see how to do it, right? Shang-Chi can do all 4 of these fights, solo them by himself, no synergies, nothing. So if you have a Shang-Chi, if you're looking for an option, right, to use for a skill champion, Shang-Chi is really good. MCOC was personally my MVP, dude. I used him for 3 fights. 3 fights in one of mine. I used him for MCOC, I used him for Kraven, and I tag teamed Penny Parker with Magneto with him, and he was really, really good for all of it, man. So MCOC, amazing. Black Widow Deadly Origin, good for MCOC, solid enough for Kraven, right? I guess could work for Penny, and could do damage on Dragon Dude too, right? So she's definitely a solid option for this. Misty Knight as well. You know, she's really good for this type of stuff, man. Better when it's just like one fight and you could lose a bunch of health, but like I said, nothing wrong with using items, man. Nothing wrong with using potions to top up. So Misty Knight, really good. She goes unblockable. Great when, you know, you're gonna have Penny Parker auto block you, you know, Dragon Dude get a little passive, you gotta jump in, hit him so he comes and attacks you, right? Kraven as well, you want to push him to 2 bars of power. Good stuff with Misty Knight. And of course, Nick Fury is just Nick Fury, right? He's very, very strong, very powerful, could be useful for a lot of the stuff in this boss rush, okay? So, by the way, you probably know this if you're looking for a guide, but the objectives is like you have to do the entire thing without a skill champion, without a science champion, without a mystic champion. There's 6 of those, okay? I'm sure you do know that though, but let's continue on. For science, lots of options in science, man. Back in the day when I had all the skill in science tier 5 class catalyst, everyone laughed at me. Now they're both very strong classes. All right, so Scorpion, so good. I used Scorpion for MCOC, Kraven, and Dragon Dude. He did really well. Soloed MCOC, just about soloed Dragon Dude. I made a mistake though. I soloed him last week though. And for Kraven, I just played really poorly at first, man. But he could absolutely solo Kraven as well. I never tried him against Penny Parker, but he's just an absolute MVP for this entire thing. Human Torch, right, just so good for Dragon Dude, so that's why he's on the list here. Spidey 29 as well, really good for Dragon Dude. Solid enough for Penny Parker. He gives into that whole hit the block playstyle, which is really, really solid, right? Mr. Negative, super cheesy, super good for Dragon Dude. Dragon Dude is definitely a problem here, so you want to make sure you have a Dragon Dude counter. That's why there's so many science champions here. Miles Morales got that unblockable cheese for MCOC and Kraven, and Dragon Dude does go unblockable as well. That might also, but he has a true focus, so you can't do that. But MCOC and Kraven, he'll be really, really good for it. It's 2 champions. And Quicksilver, really good for Dragon Dude too. Plus, he's just a decent champion that could probably be actually no, because the debuffs are going to go away from MCOC. Kraven's going to shrug off his stuff super fast, and he's not going to do much against Penny. So he's only really going to be useful for Dragon Dude, man. And even so, I think there are better options than him too. So, honestly, dude, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, after really saying it all out loud, I was like, I don't know about that, man. All right, Doom, Tigra, and Rintra. Doom, amazing, amazing, amazing for this cycle. He can do MODOK. I don't recommend him for MODOK, but it can be done. He's really good for Kraven. Got that cheese going on. You know, you get him in the corner, slap, 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 slap. You know, there are ways to do it where you just have to watch out for the stagger, right? Because the stagger, I'm trying to let me think about it for a second. So basically, okay. Basically, the way it works is that you kind of need the staggers to overlap. That way you remove one of them, and then if the shock appears, you can keep slapping over and over and over. And there's going to be a moment of RNG there of him not throwing the heavy attack, right, where it's not going to overlap and you have to redo it, okay? So just keep that in mind if you're going for the Doom cheese. But he does work really, really well for it. Also, really good for Dragon Dude too. I don't really, maybe he'd be okay for Penny. Listen, the thing with Penny Parker here, man, it's just a big Penny Parker. Really big Penny, and Doom's got that nice like block penetration, right? So he's gonna get that shield down a little bit faster. So Doom could be okay for Penny. He's just good for most things, that's why he's good for Tigra and Rintra. Not the best for this, but they can both be like budget options for like a Dragon Dude counter with like the neutralize. Works really well. Rintra, incredibly tanky. He definitely could work very well for Dragon Dude. Get him in the corner, give him a little bit of the cornering medicine there. Crush that clown in the corner instead of letting Dragon Dude get you. Tigra, same thing. With the neutralize is just absolutely incredibly powerful. It's very, very strong. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work on Kraven, especially because of the roots. That could be really good for Rintra, get a little tanky there. I don't remember if he has something where like the neutralize won't work with his buffs, but if that's not the case, then they'd be great for him too. I did not try that though, but yeah, very strong. Wiccan as well if you have Wiccan for the neutralize, but he's new, so I'd imagine that most people don't have him yet. Cosmic, Hercules, and a Hulkling, man, they're very good for this. There should really be like a line between these, because Gallon, Venom, and Venompool really good for this cycle. They make Penny Parker an absolute joke, right? So that's why they're here. They're so good for it. Plus, they're just great champions in general. They could be useful for Kraven, right? Eat those buffs. For Gallon over here, he's just really good. Fight Kraven the way you're supposed to fight him, and eventually he'll just die, with Matador and everything like that. Eventually he'll just die, and that's gonna be good. It's gonna be good stuff. Just do the cycle once or twice, right? Same thing for MODOK. I'd imagine he'd be fine for MODOK. Build up the planetary mass, go for the heavy attack. Yeah, so actually Gallon is so good. He's such a good champion, so I do think he'd be good for pretty much the whole thing. Venom and Venompool for Kraven, and Penny Parker would be really, really good. Hercules and Hulkling. Hulkling is so good for Penny Parker. It's nuts. Really, 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 really good for Penny Parker there. Also solid enough for Kraven, solid enough for MODOK. Same thing for Hercules. Solid enough for MODOK, solid enough for Kraven, really good for Penny, So these two definitely tops, I would say, for the whole thing here. Hercules also can do Dragon Dude if you want to go like Hercules for the third cycle in a row. He could do it. Shocker, right? Absolute shocker. All right, so for tech, we have Nebula and Ghost. Nebula up top, dude. Nebula is actually really good for Dragon Dude, who I said was a problem, So Nebula, just shut him down. Really solid stuff, man. So really good stuff. We actually a bunch of my friends in my alliance to use Nebula for it, man. So that's really, really cool. It's really cool. Ghost is here because Ghost just has that damage, man. If Ghost is just... You're looking at your options, you're like, man, I can't use this class. I gotta use two tech champs, man. Here, it's like I gotta figure it out. Ghost is gonna be able to do MODOK. He's gonna be able to do Kraven. Probably won't be the best Penny Parker counter. Maybe if you have Wasp, should be okay. And Dragon Dude has True Focus, so I wouldn't suggest using Ghost there. But if worst comes to worst, you could build up to a special 2, pop some tech boosts on, and you're probably going to have a decent enough time, If that's like your only option. It's just her damage output is just so high that it's like, she could get it done. I wouldn't recommend it. Keep in mind, she's really the only champion on the list where it's like, I don't really recommend it. All right. Up next, Kitty Pryde, she could do the whole thing, just like Hercules, just like Shang-Chi, just like Doom, just like Scorpion. These 5 are like very versatile for the entire thing, most of the gauntlet. They're very, very good. Yeah, come on, especially if you combine her with Tigra. She's going to be unblockable. Swipe left, swipe right. You're going to have a good time. Magneto, really solid for Penny Parker. Really good for Dragon Dude as well. That's 2 that she's going to be looking for. MODOK is metal. I'd imagine he'd be okay okay enough for MODOK. But like, you know, your buffs are gonna go away. Your power is gonna go away because the node, unless the ability accuracy bypasses it, I'm not sure. But it wouldn't be my first choice. I'd imagine he could work though. You know, Magneto solid when there's 3 metal champions. You know, plus also Kraven is a skilled champion, so he got the class advantage over him, and that fight's more of like a skill-based fight where you can really do it with anybody. So yeah, I mean, Magneto could be very useful. Strife, right, really useful as well. Very, very, very strong champion, especially think about it this way. You ramp up in your first fight, dude. Maybe be hard to ramp up against MODOK, but you ramp up all the way against Kraven, you can be doing some damage towards the end, man. So Strife, really solid for stuff like this. Archangel, really only useful for Kraven, but he's very good for Kraven. That's why he's on the list here. But yeah, guys, this is what I would say would be the top counters for the boss rush of week 5 in Eternity of Pain. This one, yeah, you know, the fights, personally, I know pretty much everybody doesn't really agree with me on this. I find this set of 4 fights to be, in my opinion, a bit easier than the last cycle. I just feel like if you got the right counters for it, if you know like what to do, you're going to be able to go in like with those RPG counters, right? But if you do not have a proper counter to these guys, I do think it will be a little rough. And like I said, it's okay to use items. Like, don't ever feel bad about not soloing or anything like that. I mean, I was live in front of a few hundred people just like popping the items, man. It's totally cool. It's a game. Have fun with the game. Don't stress out. The rewards are amazing. It's totally worth the items. It's fine. It's all good. All right, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Let me know who you use in the comment section below, and I will be seeing you around, man.